Resensing and reframing. Before we get to the meat of this afternoon, I'd just like you to take note and notice who you are sitting with. Don't talk, please. Just become aware of everybody who's sitting at your table and greet each other, but without talking. Just raise a hand, please. Was there anybody who noticed that your neighbours did not look you in the eye? Everybody looks each other in the eyes. Yeah? Yeah? Wonderful start. If we were in Japan, this might not have happened. If we were in the UK, this might not have happened. Different signals mean different things, and we're becoming more to that later. But what are we about when we're talking about resensing and reframing? We've created a world for ourselves of frames. We can look at the world and say, this is a wonderful place full of opportunity. And I have to be honest, I love my life. We can also look at the world and say, it's full of problems. And without going into details, I just say, let's think of the news from the last couple of weeks. And where do these problems come from? In my personal view, I believe we spend far too much time and take far too much space talking about each other. We have various so-called leaders, political leaders, leaders of religious groups, leaders of special interest groups, whatever special might mean, who take a great deal of pleasure in talking at us. Two of the themes of this symposium are migration and internationalization. Yeah, what about migration? I mean, hasn't migration always been with us? Throughout the history of human beings, as far as we know it, haven't people always migrated? But what's the real difference now? Isn't the real difference that certain leaders in society have defined migration as a kind of problem? And perhaps this is a problem, but we've defined it as a problem because we've created walls around the spaces we live in. And one of our definitions of these walls, these borders we've created, are the concept of national spaces. But what is a nation? What does national mean? I'm not even going to talk about nations. You know, the concept of a nation state was always a myth, even when it was first created and thought of in the 19th century. But here we are in Austria. Well, what is Austria? What are Austria's neighbours? Not very far away from here, we've got a country that calls itself Slovakia. How long has that existed in its current form? 25 years? Borders change. And the borders begin, first of all, in our minds. Then they become physical. They are certainly psychological because we try to keep people out or we keep people in. We define insiders, and by defining insiders, we define outsiders. The European Union has this wonderful concept of opening up borders so we can all travel. All of those of us who are citizens of the European Union can travel anywhere inside it. But what about those who aren't? Have Okay, we think of a game, it looks like a game. Is it a game? Yes it is, no it isn't, it's more than a game. These are reactions I've had from clients. It's a game, but it's more than a game. Is the purpose to win? Actually, no, the purpose is to get a deep level of interaction very, very quickly. That's the purpose of culture use. It's put in the form of a game, and let me tell you now the story, just very briefly, of how I came to develop it. It will answer your question, I think. But it was back in 2002. I was doing a lot of work in the rail sector, and Bombardier acquired Adtrans, which at that time was the largest rail systems manufacturer in the world, a big client of mine. And it was a corporate acquisition, it wasn't a merger. I personally believe there are never any mergers, but that's another question. I was requested to actually facilitate the integration process for one of the business units. And the new management team came together, 8 people from 6 different countries, and only 2 of them knew each other. So the first question we dealt with was, who's here? And it's a senior management people, were all people in their sort of 40s to 60s, that was the age range. And we spent a very intensive period of about an hour and a half actually really getting to know each other using standard interactive exercises, working outside. It was a summer's day in a country hotel. And at the end of it, one of them turned around and said, you know, that was really good. I've got a much better idea of who my new colleagues are, but it wasn't nearly enough. And at the same time, I realized that we don't have time for much more because we've got to spend the next couple of days working on all of our strategic questions. And everybody looked at him and kind of nodded, and then they all turned around to look at me, and I nodded and said, let's go for coffee. Because I didn't have a better answer at that stage. But we kept talking about the question, not during the workshop, but kind of in the evening over beers at lunchtime and so on. And then the real question came up. And the real question was, how can we accelerate this process of getting a deep level of connection amongst ourselves? And that was the kind of question that I went home with. You know, I didn't have an answer, and then reflecting on it over the next weeks and talking with colleagues and also talking with them, because we were meeting quite regularly, I thought, well, the only way to bring everything into one package was in the form of a game of some sort. So the idea, it looks like a game, so there is a conclusion to it. What is this question of identity? There's this German term, Heimat, which is not really translatable. Sort of homeland is a sort of translation. It doesn't quite hit the nail on the head. I don't have one. And I know by no means I'm unique in this world. I know, having a similar conversation earlier, there's at least one other person in this room, at least one other, with something similar. It's a trap, it's a frame. It's a question that we use to kind of categorize people for our own purposes, not in any negative way, but we think it helps us, but it's actually a trap. It could hinder us in helping us to understand that person.